So now I've talked about requiring ATC approval prior to operating in certain types of controlled airspace. We're going to talk about airspace authorizations and what we refer to as LAANCs. This is how we go about getting those ATC approvals. LAANC, or Low Altitude Authorization Notification Capability, essentially allows drone operators to request authorizations to operate in controlled airspace up to 400 feet. Approvals are typically received instantly via an automated process, but note that not all airports participate in LAANC. The way we do this, there's a lot of different ways. The most popular way is through a few different popular apps. So I'm going to show you one example of how to do that. Okay, so the first place you can check is directly on the FAA website using what they call the UAS facility maps. Now these are not the same as aeronautical charts. This is a user-friendly map that shows the different controlled airspace specifically for drone operators. What you'll see is these areas around Class Bravo, Charlie, and Delta airspaces with grids with different numbers in them. Now these grids and numbers within them represent the altitude limit you can request authorizations for. For example, here you can see that you can request to fly in this grid up to 400 feet. But some grids are more restrictive, like here. This one you can only request up to 100 feet or 150 feet. Some say 0, meaning likely you won't get approval to fly in this grid at all. There are ways to get around this that takes a little bit more coordination with the FAA. This is completely outside the scope of this course, so we'll just leave it there. So again, if you know you're going to be flying in controlled airspace, you can check here for the grid area you'll be, and you can see how high you can request an authorization for. Okay, so now how do you actually submit a LAANC request? There are a few different apps out there, but one of the most popular is Aloft Air Control. So when you open it up, it gives you a map that looks very similar to the UAS facility map that we just saw. It still gives you the grids and the altitudes you can request an authorization up to. So for this example, let's say we wanted to fly here, which is under the Boston Class Bravo airspace. You can press LAANC. They'll ask you if you're flying commercially or recreationally. For this example, we'll say we're flying commercially. Gives you an altitude to select. In this case, we can fly up to 250 feet. Then you pick your date and time. Let's say we're going to fly tomorrow at 4 p.m. And then on this next screen, it gives you a pre-check result, basically telling you how likely it is that your submission is going to be auto-approved. Press next, make sure all your information is correct, agree and submit. And in most cases, you'll receive an authorization automatically. So in this case, we just got a text from LAANC telling us that our request has been approved. It gives you a LAANC number, which you want to make sure that you have with you when you are flying in case anyone asks you any questions.